Shall we get started?
Yes, please.
Hello. Yeah. Well, okay, let's start. Is my video and mic working okay in the room?
You're good. You're good.
Okay. Hello. Hi, this is a suit session. We're going to start the session. This is the note well. So if you have anything concerned, please let us know. We would like to help each other. And next page, note really well. So yes, IETF is the place for the collaboration, and this is the place we like to have a productive activity to have the draft and internet engineering task force to have a good progress. So yes. If you have any concern or anything you were uncomfortable, please let us know. And this session is recorded. So participating on Meet Echo, all the session is recorded. And this is the logistic. So before going to the agenda bashing, yes, we need to volunteer for note takers.
We have Russ. Russ has agreed to take notes.
Yes, thank you, Russ. Anybody else?
This is Dave Thaler, remote. I can help Russ.
Thank you, Dave.
Perfect.
How many Dave today?
Many.
Okay. So this is the today's agenda. So it is anything for the agenda bashing? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 draft. Okay. If it's okay, then we'll go from the draft status. So the first one to talk is the suit manifest format. And it had an update on about 2 weeks ago for the draft submission. And honestly, please, Brendan and Ken and Hannes, please let us know, because I wrote this draft status about I was keep updating for all this week, but I haven't updated anything if you have updated from yesterday. So right now there's two discusses remaining, and one from Murray and one from Paul, and also I saw when I was going through the GitHub, Carsten have the pull request merged, but it doesn't seem to be the merged portion in the dash 28 draft. So that's all something I found, and that at the current status is waiting the reply for the Murray and Paul for the review. And next is
Kara, before you move on, Yeah, and I think one of the things we really want to like work to get these the feedback addressed. So we would hope to hear from the authors around like what their plan is as far as addressing the feedback so far, so we can move this forward.
Thomas is in the queue.
Hi, Thomas Fossati Linaro. So I sent a couple of messages to the mailing list to flag there's a minor problem with the examples in the manifest. The CBOR EDN is wrong in some places. They're trivial things, like missing commas, missing parentheses, stuff like that. Just easy to fix. Should be easy to fix, but I haven't received any feedback from the authors, and I think we should fix this now rather than going through the errata, because it would be painful and uselessly painful since we can do that now. So.
Agreed. Brendan?
I'm happy to provide a more detailed update when we get to the discussion about the manifest format, but suffice it to say that there's been a lot of work going on this week, and I think that we're pretty close to clearing out most of this. As far as the examples go, I did see some traffic on GitHub around that, and I was under the impression that an update had already happened to that, Thomas. So I will, of course, double check and make sure that this is squared away. But I did see traffic on that in the wake of your comments previously.
Right. So I checked 28, which should be latest, right? And
no, yeah, it should be. But I published 29 this week already, and there's another update to come.
All right, I will check this again.
I suspect if it wasn't handled in 28, it's probably still not handled then. So we will make sure that gets revised for 30, which should be coming pretty soon. As I said, there's been lots of updates this week already.
Thanks very much.
Thomas, could you send your message, the link to the chat or something? Then I could, so the note taker could take it on the note.
Sure.
Yes, thank you. Okay, next draft is a suit manifest extension for multiple trust domains. And yes, so this was Shepherd write-up was done by finished by Dave Toller, and it's under early review. So and Dave, when Dave made a Shepherd write-up, he added the review comments. So waiting the reply from the author. And I think that's the suit trust domains situation status. So the next is firmware encryption with suit manifest. Yeah, and this is pretty going pretty well. So it depends on the draft. I Kosei key thumbprint, but this is already on RFC editor queue. And ISG telechat is already on agenda, so I don't think it's we have anything here. And next is a secure reporting of the update status. Yes, this draft had a significant update from the last IETF, and it's a lot of work from Brendan. So I think it's this is going to be a working group last call and with the for the Shepherd write-up.
And this is an area that we're looking for a volunteer to step forward to be a document shepherd. So we'll talk about that when we get to that draft.
Yes. And next draft is a strong assertion of IoT network access requirements, suit mud, and this also depends on the same COSE key thumbprint, and this which is RC editor Q, and at the moment, rats eat and suit manifest is depends on this draft, so we just need to wait for that two draft to clear the ISG review. So
Is
this
that what
is
this is waiting for? Sorry, I should have put my name in the queue.
I think this is
Yeah.
also waiting on the manifest as well.
But
Already?
it's not. Roman's holding this, but why is Roman holding it? It says for external review.
Brendan on the queue.
So this can't go forward until the manifest is done. It takes a normative reference on the manifest, so there's not really much we can do about that.
No, but he can announce it so that it can go into the RFC editor and be held in misref, but it hasn't done that. It's not. Roman hasn't sent this forward to the editor.
Okay.
So normally the editor holds these things if they need to be held, and this isn't at the editor. Roman's still holding it. And my question is, why is Roman still holding it? What's he waiting for?
Is there an action that you would like us to take to determine that?
Yeah, I think you need to ask Roman what he's waiting for. Like, what is
Will
he
do.
holding it for? There's
I see.
obviously a reason why he's holding it. I can ask, you can ask, be faster if you ask. CC me on it and I can help.
Great, thanks.
Yes, and could note taker write it down, please? Yes, it's going to be almost 3 o'clock, so I need something it's written down. And Thomas wrote down the link to the his comment on the manifest CDDL check. Okay. The next draft is mandatory to implement algorithm for the suit manifest. It's called suit MTI. This depends on suit firmware encryption. And this is also it's on status for the working group last call and with the and going to the Shepherd write-up. And also this was discussed. Brendan was asking on the mailing list whether he should add PQC algorithm, and Ross was reply was that yeah, wait until COSE finishes them. So I think we just have to go forward without the PQC algorithm.
And this is another draft where we're looking for a volunteer for a document shepherd.
Mm-hmm. And Brendan is in the queue. Just a minute. Yes.
Given the context, I think we can all be clear that this is going to get a BIS in the very near future if we do publish it. I think we still need to publish it, but just be prepared that it's going to get revised almost immediately.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, I understand.
MTI, Russ, you're not an author on the MTI draft. Oh no, he's talking about the MTI draft, right?
Yeah, Russ is not an author.
If you would so desire. I mean, there's a lot of other people in this room that we could twist their arms of. It's true. It is true.
Just to get done, I'll do it.
Thank you, Russ.
Thank you. The next draft is the update management extension for the suit manifest, which initially wasn't part of the manifest itself, but it was splitted. And this draft was also yes, I think this was last July. Yeah, it's okay. And this is also on the working group last call, and we're waiting for the Sifford write-up.
When did you run working group last call on this?
Not yet. So we after this.
I know, but if you look at the dates, it's December 2021 and November 2022, so possibly.
Deb, I'm looking. The working group last call was started in 2023 in July. And we did close it. So it was changed in November of 23 to waiting for working group chair go ahead, and we gave that go ahead last week.
So you need a different victim for Shepherd write-up? Sorry, that might be a little blunt.
We do.
Yes, we do.
Hank just moved to the front row.
So
Is Hank willing to step forward?
He says no. Come on, Hank. Because he has 400 other drafts he has to finish in other working groups.
Well, this one's finished. He just needs to do the write-up. Well, we'll come back to it.
That, Hannes.
yes. Thank you.
I can take it, whatever it is. I don't, but you need to tell me which one is that. So.
This is update management.
Send them all.
All right.
Thank you, Tomas.
Thank you.
That's fantastic.
And yes, this is the last page of the slide. So, Brendan, which slide you going first?
Oh, whoops. I don't suppose it matters. Pick one and I'll talk about it.
Okay, then I will show them.
Okay. All right. So these slides are several days out of date.
Yes.
So first off, there's this bit. It's not particularly helpful. It was updates to address the IANA review, but in actual fact, having looked at the updated draft or updated discuss from Murray, it didn't address all of the IANA points. So since I wrote these slides, we've gotten back and forth with Murray again, and with someone from IANA as well. And I believe that there are changes in GitHub now which should address the IANA concerns. So since they're already in GitHub, they're ready to go. We can probably publish that at any time. I'm going to hold off on that because of Thomas's concerns. I want to address those first, but they should be just about ready to go.
So can they ask IANA to look at the GitHub? Will IANA do that?
I mean, look, when I say I think that we've addressed it, what I mean is that IANA told me what to write and I wrote it.
Okay, that's fine then. That's perfect.
I think that was a comment from Ore.
Yeah, so there was a comment from Ori as well. Ori says that with the latest updates that we've, or rather with the reply in the email that I sent, he is now holding no objection.
Yeah, I think I saw about 1 or 2 hours ago on the GitHub with the your and Ore's update on the IANA
Yeah.
review portion.
That's right.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so I say that I've addressed that, but as it turns out that we still actually have one of these to deal with, and that is Paul Wooters. I thought that we had done that already. I'm going to go back through them, of course, and make sure that those have been fully addressed. So I don't know if we have fully addressed Paul Wooters' comments, but I think we have. Having addressed the questions from Ayana, I am now waiting, and having Ori lifted his discuss, I'm waiting to hear whether Murray is happy with the results, but I suspect he is waiting for the updated draft.
When I looked at the draft on last Sunday or something, it still wasn't in the version 27 or something. I don't remember the number.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm 29 has been posted. What 29, if you go back a slide, what 29 did was it addressed the essentially the merge error that we had, which changed suit install to 17 again after we had just finished changing it to 20. So that was just a merge failure. So that has been reverted in 29. 29 fixes that. So it's a relatively minor change from 28. 28 is near enough to accurate.
Okay.
So as I said, when we talked before, essentially where we stand at the moment is we've addressed all of the discuss points from Ori. I think that in the GitHub there is now a version that addresses all of the points regarding IANA considerations. I went through all of the discuss points from Murray, and I think that lands us in pretty good shape. The only substantial one that I couldn't answer there was around IANA, and IANA helpfully answered that question, and we've made those changes. So I thought that I had previously addressed Paul Wooters' discusses, as I said, so I'm hoping that if I go through those again, it'll be relatively straightforward. I have not had any updates from him on this particular version.
So he wrote you a message on the 25th of October. I don't have the, link to it, saying that he thinks there's still some wording issues.
Okay, well, we'll address those in the next week and get that sorted out.
If you CC me on those, I can do a little encouragement. That's the word.
Will do.
That's the word. It's been hanging around for a long time. It's nice to get it done.
And next slide will be trust domain.
Oh, trust domains. Is Ken around?
Yes.
Oh, Ken, would you like to take this one?
Okay, let me try this. Hi. I came from Secom. Next slide, please. Now we are brushing up our documents, and thank you for Thomas, Marek, Dave, Russ, and Deb for your comments. Next slide, please. yeah, this was the CDD are updated, so we have to update also the example binaries. So now they are fixed. And additionally, next slide, please. So yeah, maybe it is so late, but we've added the CA check to validate the examples in the document, that the example binaries are how can I say that, valid on the CDDR grammar. So now they are checked and they are valid now. Thank you, Thomas. And next slide, please. And there is another comment that that upper one is not yet resolved, but I think it is enough to go forward. And the middle one is resolved by the previous slide. And the last one, example one, yes, it is also resolved. Next slide, please. So there was an example that depends on another suit manifest. Only the dependent manifest is in the document, and now a dependency manifest is also added to the document. So so you can't miss the example in the current version. Oh.
Hello, Ken? Did we lose Ken? Do you hear voice from Ken? Okay. Ken is reconnecting.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, thank you. I'm sorry. And there was a comment in GitHub, and from Marek. He is I'm not sure about. He is he is reading suit manifest document and also this extension manifest extension document, and he recognized that the text is ambiguous because there is dependency manifest and dependent manifest, and the document says just manifest. So we need to clarify which manifest. And next slide, please. And now it's clear. So as you can see in the right top right, so there is dependent manifest and dependency manifest, and
Yeah. We lost them again. Shh.
Bren?
Brendan, can you continue? Maybe my device is not good.
So you can try turning your video off. It might make you less.
I mean, by all means, try again, Ken, but I'll stand by in case it doesn't work out.
Ken, could you continue just with the audio on
Okay.
and video off?
Okay, let me try. And next slide, please. And now, Dave give us a comment that there is a link in the abstract part, and we removed it. So next slide, please. Yeah, now removed. And next slide, please. There was another comment that there were some references to some RFCs, and there might be not.
They're informational.
So it looks like Ken has dropped. I'll just take over and we'll see what happens. So yeah, there were a few references in here that are in the normative ref section but aren't cited. And similarly, we have a reference to suit firmware encryption, and the reference in the text looks normative, but it was in the informative ref section. So next slide, please. That is, we have removed the unnecessary references and will shortly be moving the firmware encryption reference to the normative section. And as you can see, there is a pull request already there for that. Next slide, please. We got another comment from Dave Thaler and Russ Housley. So Russ said that there were down refs to 4 informational RFCs. And he said that he thinks that these can be informational references. That is next slide, please. So those are going to be handled again in the next version, and there is a pull request open for those. All right, and then Deb, you had some comments for us as well, and I appreciate the point that we don't need to reference 9019 if it only points to 9124. Next, please. I have some thoughts on this. 9019 does cover the architecture and that references multiple trust domains and the requirements that bring about multiple trust domains. So from that perspective, it does sort of set the stage for the existence of multiple trust domains. 9124 actually does cover the threats to multiple trust domains. Next slide, please. So 9019 specifically covers a dependency resolution phase that's needed when more than one component can be updated, and dependency resolution is a form of multiple trust domains. And then in addition to that, there is section 5.2, which references what happens when you have a device with a normal mode and a secure mode. And in that, and there's a quote from it there where there will generally be 2 images, and how that may work with writing to the device. So these sections inform the security considerations in the form of requirements and architecture. Next slide, please. Then we also have the threats that are covered in 9124. So we have unauthenticated images, which is essentially what happens when you have someone other than the requisite party handling the access to a particular component. And this is relevant to having multiple trust domains, obviously, if you have multiple signers for a given device. Similarly, there's the override threat, and the override threat is present when you have someone who is not authorized to override a particular element and does it anyway. So it sounds like maybe we should add some additional text in suit trust domains so that this is clear, but I'm not sure that it makes sense to remove the references because they are informative and instructive in terms of how the entire document came about, in fact.
So if I can. So
Go ahead.
Dave also agrees with you that leaving 9019 is a fine idea, and I'm fine with that. I would like to see things expanded to cover the additional threats that you cover in the document, but not in the security considerations, like you've outlined just here.
Okay, understood. That is the last slide on that one.
So he also had one more comment, Dave did. He'd asked for IPR confirmation, and Ken had provided it, but you still have not.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. I will get that done as soon as possible.
Awesome. Thank you.
Hannes?
Yeah, I had a chat with Marek at the hackathon, and in context of the firmware encryption, and which for more sophisticated functionality or for better security, as you know, refers to this document. And he pointed me to one issue which I then was also struggling with, relating to the BR24, where you seem to be using, and I'm abstracting it a little bit because there are obviously lots of details which we can't discuss here, but when referencing the component indexes in suit dependencies, there seems to be a somewhat surprising approach, in the sense that some of those component indexes are not explicit, but instead they are defined implicit, which is what I didn't expect, and nor did Marek. So I was wondering whether that's something we could potentially look into. I can send, I can put that issue into the issue tracker. It was sort of
that
a
would be
side
great.
conversation on that PR, so maybe it got lost a little bit because that PR got merged. It had lots of other things in there unrelated to this, and so because it's relates a little bit to the composability of the manifest, and how a developer would put information in there and what to expect. And it was just, since it was surprising to both of us, maybe that was maybe an oversight, or I don't know what the design rationale was to come up with that.
Yeah, it sounds like at the very least we need to explain why it's done the way it is, if not fix a problem. So
Okay, I will type it in.
yeah, please do. That'll
want
make it
to bring
easier
it
to
up.
track. Thank you.
Could
Thank
you
you, Hannes.
also make sure you reference the issue on the mailing list? Thank you.
Next slide is the encryption.
Okay. Good. Next slide. Oh, who's driving the slides?
I am.
Oh, cool. Okay. So, so we got the.
I'm just here.
Yeah, it was like magic, right?
It is.
Yeah, this is AI. Like, fantastic. So there were 2 reviews provided, and one was from Martin Thompson, another one was from Ron Bonica. And Martin Thompson's review was very detailed, and like a little bit of general thought on how these documents are written. Obviously, like the firmware encryption is a more complicated document, as you can imagine, because it does all this key management and so on. So when I worked on the introduction, I kind of assumed certain things, which probably I should not have assumed. And when Martin, who didn't participate in this group and nor he's familiar with the work, read the document, there was a lot of context missing. And so that was obviously led to lots of questions. So he was a very long review, and which then led me to make a lot of changes as well to the document, editorial changes. But I don't know whether those changes have actually improved it or made it worse. So in a nutshell, if someone in this room has been new and would be interesting to help out and review the document, provide me feedback on whether this recent edit or this recent pass-through, editorial pass-through the document actually have improved readability on explaining what it does, why it does it, and how it works. It would be really helpful for me because obviously since working on this topic like for years now, I'm also a little bit lost in the details, and so it makes it difficult for me to judge whether this is meaningful. And probably that same is true for the other people sitting next to me or near me. So that's, having said that, obviously made lots of changes, and so did Ken. Thank you, Ken. He updated the examples again as we made some minor changes to the algorithm identifiers, and because of other changes that were just discussed previously with the IANA consideration. So we had to make those changes as well. Next slide. So if you go back, so you obviously see like lots of lines have changed. It looked like I have totally rewritten the document, but it's not quite the case. Next slide. Some funny numbers here. So like there's some changes highlighted that can produce the slide. So he did provide a lot of details for you. Lots of editorial changes in the way how to present it. Lots of it is well, like stylistic thing. One person prefers this one way. The different person may like a different style. I don't have a strong opinion, so I made those changes. Next slide. References. I didn't think about the HTML output, and you can reference sections directly. That's a great feature. Did that. Next slide. This is the change we made regarding the algorithm number of what we include in the KDF context, which is the key derivation function. And so that led to, obviously, to changes in the code, led changes in examples, had to update all the examples, rerun everything, which then looks like everything changed. Next slide. Martin also had, Martin is a geek when it comes to all this ASCII art and the transformation into SVG and so on. So he helped us produce beautiful tables. Here's a glance. So it's like almost artistic work. Yeah, it looks much better. Didn't know that. Excellent. Next slide. So it's a good reading experience. All the examples, adding the examples into the document also produces lots of long lines, and you have all sorts of line break issues there. Carsten pointed out that there is one command now in Markdown, which at least for me now, that you can add, and so it basically takes care of this, which is fantastic. I hadn't known that. Had I known this earlier, it would have saved me like hours. So because I'm manually bad at everything, so that's great. Thank you, Carsten. Next slide. So you see that like overflowing out of the box, and then now it and so on. Next slide.
That's it.
Oh,
That's all.
this is the last page.
Oh, it's the last slide. Okay, good. So if anyone could help me with the review and trying to give me some feedback, that would be good. I'm looking specifically to those who hadn't done any or hadn't been exposed too intensively with this group yet. So that would be really helpful. Don't be shy.
Dave.
And Dave T is in the queue.
Oh, okay. But Dave would not be the right person.
So my comment is not actually a comment on the draft, and I see Brendan said the same thing in the chat room. You mentioned two things that draft authors can save hours doing. Is there a place like on the IETF tool site or something that documents such things? Because I didn't know about these either. So how do we evangelize the learnings you just had to everybody else for all these other drafts that are going to run into these same problems, right?
Carsten. He says he will post a link to the mailing list.
Yeah, there's two different tools I think that you talked about, right? Because you talked about the table stuff from Martin, and you talked about Carson's comments, and both of those are common in drafts, and so it seems like there should be a common site that says, if you're using this tool, here's some things that you need to know for how to edit documents. And so we've got text on IETF sites as to how to edit documents, but I don't know if these are up there. If they are, then great, that answers my question. But if not, let's put them there. So thanks.
Yeah, there will Carsten will post a mail. Hank, do you want to say something?
Hank is in the queue.
So hi, this is Hank. Someone, probably not me, should make this I want to say options part of the ID template CI maybe. For example, I'm still baffled by that fixed lint is a non-automatic thing. Why should someone never do that? And I think someone more qualified than me could help Martin in a CI tool. That would be an evangelizing that, for example.
Yeah, the fixed link is actually pretty annoying, to be honest, because it deals with some issues that programming languages worry about, not text, like the white spaces, like after the end of the line. Very annoying.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't bark on this one.
It wouldn't bark on this one, of course. But there could be like you know, the CI options could be another place to evangelize it. Yeah.
But anyway, is anyone here who please could help me review the document? It's not a tremendously long document, so if you have excitement for firmware encryption, you always want to know the details of firmware encryption. What's your name? Chris. Okay, that's why I also want to get the full name written down, because then we have. Okay.
So you need to do it quickly because it's on the telechat for November 21st.
I didn't hear. It was Chris.
We'll post the name in the chat window.
Just go to the mic.
Great.
Well, go to the mic.
There you go. Good job.
Excellent.
Oh, wait. I can't.
Yeah, that's Chris Kwiatkowski. You got it?
Did that help you, Dave?
And no, if you could just type it in chat, that would be perfect.
Yeah, that's correct. It's like my name, very complicated. That's why Hannes. Okay, but
and I guess if we could get that review in maybe in the next week or so, that would be appreciated.
I will work with Chris. We will change sort of like email and get this done. So really appreciate Chris. Thank you a lot.
You should log into the session.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you for all the work on this.
Hello, it's me again. Next slide, please. So there are relatively minor changes since version 9. So what we've done is fixed a rendering glitch, added the IANA considerations in a similar style as the suit manifest ones. So hopefully those will be relatively close to correct and have few cycles. And the full CDDL was missing, as had been pointed out, and so that's been added in as well. Next slide, please. So the last call has been completed. We are awaiting a write-up. I'm not aware of any outstanding issues currently. So if there are any issues, please let me know.
Full CDDL was in the appendix was really helpful. So now the CDDL syntax check depends on MTI is all clear now.
Excellent.
Yes, it is. And I think I have the 72 character length have the same issue, but I think it's going to be fixed.
Yep, as soon as we find out where all of those helpful tips and tricks are, then we'll be able to sort all these things out in no time. And suit MTI. We already had a discussion about this one on the question of adding in post-quantum crypto. And Russ's recommendation has been that we are not going to do that for the moment because we're waiting for Cozy to catch up. There have been some updates to this document, but they are editorial primarily. So previously it was not clear that when you select an MTI algorithm, if your system does not use encrypted firmware, you are not required to implement an encryption algorithm. So that has been clarified in the text. Next slide, please. Yeah, so same deal. I believe that this is just about done. We are waiting for a write-up. According to the data tracker, there aren't any additional known issues. The one possible issue was the lack of MLChem and MLDSA, but we are taking the action to hold on that until we have updates from the Cozy working group. No, taking the action, taking the no action.
Any comments? Okay, going to the next slide. Next is the update management.
I don't know where you found a slide deck for that because I'm pretty
No,
confident I didn't produce one.
Oh yeah, we know. Another one we didn't have was the mud.
All right. Yeah, the reason that we don't have one for mud is in fact the same as the reason we don't have one for update, and that is that there is no update to it. I believe we already covered the status of update management and of mud in the opening slides, since from what I understood, mud is held waiting until suit manifest is cleared.
Yes.
I don't think there's much that we can actually do on that one at this time. Similarly, until there are either any new reviews of update management or indeed a write-up, thank you, Thomas, then there's nothing that we can do on that one either.
Okay, any other topics to cover at the session?
Any other business?
I do have one. Brendan, I think the syncing between the GitHub and the data tracker is synced now.
Yes, I believe it should all be synchronized at this point.
Okay, yeah, you changed a lot today, so I couldn't catch up. Yes.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure everything I could clear out was cleared out before the meeting.
Thanks. Okay, I think that's it. Okay, thank you very much. Oh yeah, Hannes? Oh no, it's okay. Bye-bye. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks again.
Thank you. Bye.
It's good use of an hour.
Yeah, we typically get through a lot.
You did.
Deb, do you want to catch up when you get back in a couple of weeks?
Yes. Oh, are you talking to me or Akira?
Both.
Me, because Akira's gone.
Yeah.
Talking to me. Yes,
I'm
that would
talking to
be
you.
that would be lovely.
All right, great.
We're on the same time zone, so it'll be easier.
Indeed.
Okay.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, I think, yeah, I was awake. Yeah, okay, I will, yes, please include me.
Good idea.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Liquid nutrition